Hey, Tim Lerch here for another edition of Tele Talk. I'm going to do another in a series of videos talking about how I set the guitar up or how I get a sound, or basically answering questions that I often get asked via multiple emails from folks around the world. I'm very happy to have so many people care about what I think about this stuff, and I think that the efficient way to do it is to address it in the form of a video so you can all watch it and listen carefully to the details, etc. Today I'm going to talk about my preference for tuning the guitar to lower pitches when I'm playing in a solo guitar or a duet with a singer. This guitar here is tuned to D flat standard or C sharp standard, however you want to think about it. All the strings are tuned down a minor third, so all the shapes on the guitar are the same. It's not an open tuning or anything, or an altered tuning. It's just the same standard tuning tuned to D flat. You can figure out what the pitches are. D flat, minor third below A is F sharp, minor third below D is B, a minor third below G is E, and a minor third below B is G sharp, and then another, or A flat, and then another D flat. The primary reason I do this is because I like the way it sounds. I find that for solo guitar particularly, a deeper, more rich, wide, room-filling sound is nice. If you don't go too far, I think sometimes a baritone tuning goes a little far, sort of starts to enter bass territory. And the sparkle is still on this guitar. But if I wanted to play a kind of walking bass line accompanying a singer or another instrumentalist, I can pull that off pretty nicely, and it sounds like a bass-ish sound, sort of B3-ish in some ways, or Fender Rhodes-ish in some ways. The gauges are 14, 18, or 17, depending. I switch it around. 22 plain, 38, 48, and either 60 or 59. I have to assemble this set, kind of a custom set from a string seller, and I just buy 10 sets at a time of it, and that works out pretty nicely. So a couple of things I do. On all my guitars have Glendale compensated brass saddles, and this particular guitar and the next one I'm going to show you have a set that they designed specially for low tuned guitars, because the E and A string saddle angles back a little further to compensate for the low tuning, and it tunes up perfectly and intonates perfectly. I also, on this guitar, there are 2 humbucking pickups and a single coil, and there's all sorts of wiring stuff that's in this guitar. I'm going to talk about that in a different video, but I like the sound of putting the 2 pickups together. On the way it's wired right now, they're both in full humbucker mode, but they're just both on at the same time in parallel. I always have to think a little bit about that. Parallel doesn't increase the output, I believe. I think if I'm not right about that, someone will tell me, I'm sure. In fact, parallel can kind of subdue the output just a little bit, as opposed to series, which combines the outputs. I think that's right. I like it because it's not quite like a Strat in the 2nd position or 4th position, but it has a little bit of a scoop in the mids, and I find that to be a pleasant effect. So the first reason I do it is because I like the sound of it. The second reason perhaps is that when I'm playing solo, I like the sound to be big, and so even when I'm playing up high, the strings have kind of there's more metal moving in front of the pickup, so you get a little bit more fat sound out of it. But because they're tuned down, this one's tuned down a minor third, they can be a little looser than like your typical jazz guitar might be, which for playing solo 3 or 4 hours at a time is very nice. It's a very nice nice bonus. It just makes it looser. I think I asked George Van Epps why he tuned his guitar down a whole step. He had a 7-string, and he also tuned it down a whole step. And I said, is it because of the sound? And he said, well, it doesn't sound bad, but I like the way it feels. I think he thought it felt a little bit more like a nylon string guitar, a classical guitar, when he did that. I can't vouch for that because I don't really play nylon string guitars much, but if it was good enough for George, I suppose it was good enough for me. And of course, Ted Green also is probably the one that told us all about how the joys of tuning a Telecaster down low, or one of the folks anyway. So the sound, first of all, the feel, and the tonal quality, those are all good reasons. And for me, when I accompany singer, the transposing isn't really too much of a problem, because if I know a song, I know it usually by number instead of by chord name. So I think of intervals and relationships rather than letter names. So I can put it anywhere it really needs to be if I know it well. And if I don't know it well, sometimes that can be a little bit of a crapshoot. I will sometimes rely on iReal or something like that to do a little quick transposition for me. If I'm playing with a singer and I don't want to screw them up, I'll rather swallow my pride and read a chart than play something wrong and then go to the bridge in the wrong key or something like that. As far as how to apply what key to play in, I always just search for a good sounding key or a key that facilitates the movements that I'm trying to make. But for instance, if you know Body and Soul is typically played in D flat, and on guitar, D flat in standard tuning, D flat's not the greatest key because the 2 chord there's no low E flat, and the 1 chord there's no low D flat. It's not going to suck. No, a lot of people play it and they play it just fine. I played it just fine for years. Maybe play it like this. Okay, but and that's not in the key of D flat because the actual key was a minor third lower than D flat, so that was actually in B flat, which is kind of a cool key to hear it in as well. But the other thing you can do, if you're comfortable doing this, is transpose it up fingering wise so that it's in the actual key of D flat, which would mean that it looks like the key of E fingering wise, and I might play it like this. So there are some benefits there as well, and you get these nice, low, beautiful things. I know jazz guitar players tend to avoid the keys of E and A, but when you're playing solo, they can be quite lovely to get that low, rich movement going. Just as an aside, I'm playing through a Princeton reverb amplifier with a single 10, and it seems at low volumes to handle this kind of thing quite nicely. Princeton reverbs and 10-inch speakers in general are not lacking in bottom end. If you turn them up too much, of course, they start to rattle around and fart out a little bit. But at modest volumes, a Princeton reverb or deluxe reverb, which is another favorite amp of mine, or other things sound just fine. Okay, now I'm going to switch to another guitar that I really love as well. This one is a similar Nocaster from around the same era, 2000 or so, 1999 or 2000 from the Custom Shop. This is not a real Nocaster from 1951. It's a Custom Shop Nocaster from 1999. Of course, and I've done all sorts of things to it. I put these Charlie Christian pickups, which are made by Lollar Pickups, and I put the same brass saddles, the compensated brass saddles, which are made by Glendale. And I really love this guitar. I probably play this guitar the most. It's tuned down a half step, and because of the way I have it set up, I can either go down another half step to D or up to standard tuning, and it's not unpleasant in either place. But I think it's really maximally used in the key in E flat tuning. So just everything down a half step. Again, it sounds great. It feels great. I use a set of 12 to 54 with a plain 20 on the G string. Again, I can put these two pickups on together. It's a little more stratty than the other one, and that's okay with me. I kind of feel like it sounds like a Fender Rhodes a little bit. I also do this sort of neck wiggling vibrato on both of these guitars, and the slightly softer strings help with that as well. This one's tuned to E flat, and it just feels really good. So to kind of draw it all together, I do it primarily because I like the way it sounds. I tend not to do it when I'm in a group. I tend not to do it when I'm trying to, if I'm rehearsing with other people or something. I will do it with singers, and I'll do it with instrumentalists. Like, for instance, I can quickly transpose in my mind a whole step very easily. So I'll do a whole step down, say if I'm doing a duet with a saxophone player or another instrumentalist like that. Probably not with another guitar player, because I think that I would get confused by looking at them playing in a different key. But singers especially, and solo guitar, of course, a lot. There's a benefit to it, and I know it's not for everybody, and I know that some people, the regular tuning is complicated enough, and this might not be something that they're interested in. I'm not really trying to promote it. I'm just sort of sharing my perspectives on it. And I enjoy talking about this kind of stuff and sharing it with my followers on Facebook and YouTube. Look for more lessons coming. I'm madly writing down some of my solo guitar performances so that I can have more of those available. And I will do more of these Tele Talk things, because it seems to be quite a popular deal. I'm going to talk about another one about my feelings about improvisation and what improvisation means to me, and solo guitar in general, because that's a subject that I really love. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Feel free to share this video around to your friends, and I'll see you on the next one.